Your local bank is not your enemy, but they are your ceiling. And are you an investor that doesn't realize that their local bank is going to cap them out over a period of time? It might even come hit you before you even know. The lowest, cheapest rate isn't always going to get your deal closed and also help you grow your portfolio. So let's start with it, guys. Your local bank, by all means, go to your local bank, get pricing. Also get pricing from your real estate broker, mortgage professional, whoever you're working with. Take 2 different loan estimates and take a look at them. Then you have to start comparing which deal is going to be better for you, which financing is going to work better. And I want to share a little bit of a different twist. We all are talking about AI and how AI is taking over the world and it's going to put a bunch of people out of work. The biggest buzzword in AI right now is guardrails, from system guardrails to security guardrails. Why don't we have guardrails on our investment properties? Guardrails can be very simple. Does your property hit a 1.25 DSCR ratio? Does your financing line up with your long-term strategy of holding the property or whatever your hold period is going to be? And 3, God forbid if something actually happens to this deal, are you able to float the actual investment? Is it cash flowing enough for you to where you're putting money in the bank? That ties back to number 1, 1.25 in a DSCR ratio. And there's a subsection in this. We'll call it bullet point A. Interest-only options are not a game changer in this space. It's another guardrail because your deal is not going to cash flow, period. So here it is. 1.25 DSCR ratio, 1, with a subsection bullet A. Interest-only payments, run from. B, your financing. What does it look like? How does it set you up for success? Does it match your hold period? 3, cash flow. God forbid if something happens, you're making enough money off of point A because you're putting money in the bank to be able to pay that mortgage for a period of time. Or you actually have a HVAC problem like I did, and it costs you thousands of dollars. Is that coming out of your pocket or is it coming out of your profits' pockets? I'd rather it come out of my profit than my own personal pocket. So guys, we're right where we want to be. When you're looking for the lowest rate, for the cheapest deal that you can actually get into, I can't disagree with you, but I can disagree with you on how you actually approach it. If you want to go to your local bank and they give you the best rate with the fewest fees, and you have to go through a conventional process to where you have to show all your personal documents, good for you. That's meant for somebody that's going to do 1, 2, or 3 properties over their lifetime. If you're going to be somebody that's going to be holding 10, 15, 20, 50 doors, it isn't going to work because that DTI Avalanche is going to crush you and you're not going to even see it coming. Because your local bank isn't going to talk to you about that because that is what they call in the industry an overlay. And the overlay is their requirements that they actually have to hit to sell their loan. And they're underwriting your loan to conventional standards, which means they're treating you like a home buyer, not an investor. So if you're looking to grow your portfolio, going to your local bank or your credit union more than likely is going to prohibit you in a short period of time And then once you get to that third or fourth or fifth property, guess what you're doing? Your guardrails that you thought you had on have to come off. And now you've got to refinance all those properties off of your credit bureau and get them into an LLC. Which, what are you going to do? You're going to end up doing a DSCR. So in the end, you're going to pay closing costs at your local bank, and then you're going to pay closing costs with your DSCR lender. So now you've got twice when you could have closed it once with a DSCR loan. Doesn't mean you won't refinance down the road. I get that. But if you're trying to grow your portfolio in a short period of time to where you want to do 5 or 10 doors in a year, and you put them all on your personal credit, you're going to have to go unwind all of that. Positive thing, there's no prepayment penalties on those conventional loans with your local bank, so that's a positive. The negative, you're paying closing costs for 2 different deals. The first deal at the local bank, second at the DSCR lender. The other piece of this in the financing, and this is for local banks and also your DSCR lenders. Local bank isn't going to let you close the deal in an LLC. Some DSCR lenders will not allow you to close as the guarantor on a DSCR loan. So let me explain. They too also use conventional overlays. I'll give you an example. I have a deal that's going through right now. The borrower is the actual single member of the LLC. The property is being deeded and titled in the LLC, but his name is the personal guarantee, which means there's a potential that they could report it to his credit bureau. And I spoke to that lender and we've gone back and forth, and it looks like we're going to get it updated to where it's going to be LLC on both sides, but they just changed their lending criteria and didn't tell us that. So you as a borrower need to ask, when it comes to the personal guarantee, is it in the LLC name or your personal name? If it's in your personal name, it can be reported to your credit bureau. When your loan gets sold from your original lender to another one, which happens all the time, most of your DSCR lenders are going to require you to have an auto pay set up. Make sure when the transfer happens, you call the new servicer or lender and confirm that your auto pay is set up so you're not getting reported to the credit bureaus and have any type of delinquencies. The other thing that we talk about, but I don't think it gets enough attention, is your prepayment penalty. The prepayment penalty from your DSCR lenders can vary from a step down, where it could be a 3-year or 5-year step down. It could be an interest only for a period of time. It could be a flat percentage over a period of time. Match your prepayment penalty to your hold strategy. We've talked about this. I can't stress it enough. I don't like having an investor call and say, I worked with this broker and they didn't tell me about the prepayment penalty and I'm looking to refinance now since rates are down. Well, they've only held it for a year. In the first year, they've got to pay a 5% prepayment penalty. The other piece of this, whether you're going to your local bank or a DSCR lender, you need to make sure that your rents match up to actual rents. So if you're buying a property that actually has a renter in it, easy peasy lemon squeezy, great. But if you are actually buying a property that's vacant and you're using comps in the neighborhood, in the block, wherever you're looking at, make sure they're actual rents, because when that appraiser goes out, he or she is going to be looking at those to make sure that you are aligned with what they're going to come up with. And by all means, the underwriter and the lender are going to be looking at those rents that the appraiser shared. So if your rents are, let's say, $1,500 and the appraiser comes back at $1,300, there's a $200 gap. That can be the difference between ooh and ah and making sure that your deal cash flows. Be conservative with your rents. Don't try to think that you're going to get top rents in this market right now. Rents are coming down. They're not going up. So be cautious on that. Lastly, take your loan estimate from your local bank, from your DSCR lender, put them together, side by side, go through them. Let me be transparent and just tell you right now, the local bank is going to win every single time unless there's something crazy out there on rate and fees. You have to decide on whether that rate and that fee is going to be a hindrance to your business as you scale. If it isn't, and you're doing 1 or 2 or 3 properties in a lifetime and you're never going to own any more, the local bank is the way to go. But if you're going to scale 5, 10, 15, 20 properties, the local bank is going to cost you more money. It's going to also cost you more headache. And let me be very clear again. I'm not bashing on local banks. Local banks are writing a loan based upon conventional guidelines for home buyers, not investors. DSCR loans are written for investment properties. Are they perfect? No. They've got problems too. But if you understand the problems and you can offset them or mitigate them, and your property cash flows and you're hitting a 1.25 DSCR ratio, in both products, you have to put 20% down. Some of the DSCR lenders are now letting you go up to 85% loan to value. I've seen one will do an owner carryback of 10%, so that means 90%. But again, rates and loan to value diverge. One goes up, one goes down. You figure that out. Lastly, very lastly, if you're putting all these deals on your personal credit and you decide to go buy a home for yourself, more than likely your debt to income ratio is going to be maxed out. So your dream home that you wanted to go out and buy is gone. You don't get to buy it. That's the difference between using your local bank and a DSCR lender. Let me leave you guys with this question. Have you ever made a financing decision based upon rate alone and you felt the consequences later? We'd love to hear your story. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you guys on the other side. Have a blessed day.